Hello everyone, and welcome to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park in Bowmanville, Ontario for the final two rounds of our 2016 Mopar CSBK season. I'm your series announcer, Frank Wood. This feature is brought to you by Dalton Timmis Insurance, Magneti Marelli, Dunlop, and Mopar. Here we are getting ready for the start of the Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike Round 5 National Championship here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park in Bowmanville, Ontario. And the riders have taken their grid positions according to their qualifying, and we'll send them off on their sighting lap very shortly here. The front row consisting of Kaz's, Card, and Riedman. And we're now looking back on one of the onboard cameras, now looking down into turn number 1, and we'll explain that Michael Taylor was scheduled to start in this race. Unfortunately, Michael was injured in the Superbike practice session and will not start this race, so we're wishing him the best and get well soon to Michael Taylor. Meanwhile, the rest of the grid, they're giving the finger to go ahead and start on their warm-up lap and one more sighting lap around. Of course, as they make their way around, they will receive yellow flags to indicate where the marshals are. Standing alongside me in broadcasting here for this race, a special guest for us this weekend is Brett McCormick. And we look at our grid now, Joey McRae and Martin Cote starting from the back row there, and then we have Grant Smith, Brent Strong, Ronnie Monroe in from the East Coast, Mike Raniowski in from the Super Series, Alex Coelho, one of our pro rookies, Stacy Nesbitt, of course, and a returning Jeff Sneed from Ancaster, Ontario, who has not turned a wheel in anger in some time here. We look up towards the front of the grid now as we have Darren James, Louis Rafa, starting on row number 2. Your front row will consist of Kenny Riedman on pole, Will Hornblower alongside him, then Mitch Card, Eli DeKosh on the number 53 machine, and Tommy Kazas on the number 46. Former top pro rider, 600 pro rider rather, who also had an outstanding career in Europe. Brett McCormick standing alongside Brett, and I'm sure as you watch this footage with us, your right wrist must be twitching. I know there is a lot of people who would love to see you out in the racetrack, and I suspect that you'd like to be there as well.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely have a pretty big itch, and tough to watch the guys out on their warm-up lap right now, but bringing back some good memories and definitely making me want to be out there.
Well, this track, I would suggest, is probably one of your favorites here in Canada for sure, Brett.
Yeah, this track's amazing. Super fun to race on, especially on the 600s. Always makes for really good racing. Get out in the draft. It's really hard to break away, so you always get big groups of guys racing and a lot of cool passes.
Well, typically, you know, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, the final two races of the year, of course, everybody wants to ride here, and we do have a very full grid in this, the Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike National Championship Final, and they've only got one race left, and that's tomorrow. Riedman could wrap it up in today's race, depending on his finishing position, but that remains to be seen. The field is now under starters' orders, and they will be looking to the Blue Streak Racing starting lights to launch them. Kenny Riedman sitting far to the right there, the pole position, and Mitch Card right alongside him on the number 12 machine. Now we're looking back, and I think we're on the back of Kenny Riedman's bike, looking back at Darren James on the 229 machine, the Yamaha R1. So the front row there with the Kawasaki, the Honda of Mitch Card, and then the two Yamahas of Eli DeKosh on the 53 and Will Hornblower on the number 7 machine. They are waiting patiently now for the, oh, it looks like a little bit of creeping there by Mitch Card. Holds his position and he gets the launch. Card is definitely got the whole shot on this one. Down into turn 1 they peel. Eli DeKosh around the outside of Will Hornblower. Riedman tucks into second spot, and Mitch Card will lead us up over 2. A daunting corner if ever there was one, Brett.
Yeah, turn 2 is a pretty scary place. It's blind, and on that first lap, there's bodies everywhere, bikes coming in, and you're just hoping to get through there and not get anyone passing you.
Riedman to the inside now of turn number 3, and Riedman, the national champion, quickly puts that number 1 Kawasaki directly into the lead, and now Mitch Card finds himself playing second fiddle right now. We're on board with Will Hornblower running in 3rd spot right now, and boy, we got a pack of them coming down, including Tommy Kazas on the number 6 machine, but Riedman leads through Moss's corner, and we take our first run up the Mario Andretti straightaway, and look for comments from Brett McCormick on this one. That's a long uphill climb, Brett, and it's not entirely all that straight.
No, not at all. As you can see, the guys, Kenny getting in the dirt a little bit there. But this first lap, always a toss-up where you're going to end up. Hopefully you can draft by some guys, but sometimes you end up with 2 or 3 guys getting by you.
Dekash running now in 4th spot on the number 53 machine, and it looks like Reedman, Mitch Card, and Hornblower starting to get a little bit of distance, although very, very early in this race to say so. Now we've gone into freight train mode, Brett, as they file their way through. Something has gone amiss here. We've gotten somebody's down. That's not Reedman's bike. Surely it's not Reedman.
Doesn't look like Reedman's bike. Definitely looks like a Kawasaki. Hopefully they're okay.
Yes, and confirmation on that, Brett, it was Ronnie Monroe, the rider on the number 26 Kawasaki. Most unfortunate because Ronnie had a podium position at Atlantic Motorsport Park at our previous round and was really pumped up about it. As a matter of fact, one of the things he commented on the podium, Brett, was the fact that, wow, I passed Michael Taylor. So he was very pleased to have done that. But now we're going out on our second warm-up lap after things have been cleaned up from Monroe's mishap. So we'll send these riders out and around once more. And Mitch Card, you know, we haven't seen him on the circuit very much this year. In fact, this is his first race with us this year. He's been racing down with the SOAR series, made a few appearances south of the border in Moto America, and is also a former amateur champion in both classes, so the guy's got some credentials here, but we've not seen him race, so we're not quite sure what to expect. Had an excellent qualifying effort, obviously, as he qualified in 3rd spot, running a 125.5 out here in the Friday qualifying session. So definitely, you know, he's a front row contender here, and of course coming from a family of racers. His father Bill was a former racer in Canadian Thunder and did very well for himself, and obviously the torch has been passed on to the next generation here, and perhaps some of the genes that Bill Card had have been transferred over to Mitch, because he is certainly turning into a fine rider. We watched him through his amateur career, and last time actually I saw him race, that was 2 years ago down at New Jersey. Colin Fraser and myself going down to watch what was then the AMA Pro Series, and he was competing in the amateur division down there. Stacy Nesbitt was also down at that same race, and after this weekend here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, of course, the next big race in the eastern North America will be at New Jersey, and that's a track that you've ridden at, Brett.
Yeah, New Jersey's a cool place. It's similar to some of the Canadian tracks, actually, so it's a good place for us to go down and try and compete with the Americans. It's kind of a tight track, a little bit bumpy, and very similar to what we're used to, so be interesting to see if any of these guys make it down this year.
Well, we saw Jody Christie compete there as well, and he did very well. The grid now reforming, taking their starting positions once more, minus Ronnie Monroe for the start this time around, and this will be a 10-lap affair now. This race shortened slightly. One of our CSBK officials, I don't know if you saw that, Brett, out there helping riders get that last snap-on done so you don't get a nasty flap happening.
Yeah, taking care of everybody. That's good to see.
Right on. They're on starters orders now, and they are looking towards the Blue Streak Racing starting lights once more. The engines begin to rev, and they bring it up right to the rev eliminator and get ready to launch here. Bam, they're off again. Card didn't get the launch this time that he wanted. As a matter of fact, I think Reedman, no, Card's got the break again. Card leads them in through one. Reedman tucks into 2nd spot once more. And around the outside there, I believe that to be, no, that's not Tommy Casas. I believe that's Eli Dekash, actually, is running in 3rd spot right now. Dekash on the number 53 Yamaha has tucked into 3rd spot, and he chases Reedman and Card down into turn number 3, and Card takes the inside line. That was a nice pass, Brett.
Really nice pass up into 3 there, and looks like Darren James right up in the lead pack too. Had a good start on the restart, so I'm sure he'll be happy about that.
James has had a bit of a rough weekend. He launched the R1 Super. Oh, look at Reedman now closing in on Card. This is great stuff. He moves to the inside of him, and sure enough, the national championship, the national champion, I should say, has snatched the lead away. He's got some distance here, Brett, already.
Yeah, that's impressive. That's a nice pass up into Moss's there, and to be able to get the drive, we'll see what the motors are here. See how Card's got on him, and looks like Kenny's bike's still pulling pretty good here.
This is where the draft comes in, of course, and you notice there Mitch Card rather was out of the draft there and was starting to fall back as a result of that. Quickly tucked himself back into the draft and got hauled back in. We are on board there just for a moment with Will Hornblower. Now we're on board with Kenny Reedman looking back at Mitch Card. Wonderful footage, eh, Brett?
That's unbelievable. This is cool to see all these guys, just a tight pack. Obviously on the first lap you're going to see that, and already some good passing and battling going on.
Yeah, Card is definitely keeping himself distinctly in the hunt here. He's not letting anybody get away. Casas now has moved up into a solid third spot. Tommy Casas on board the HB Cycle and Parts Canada sponsored Yamaha that wears the number 46, and he's holding a good position there. He's had a couple of really good runs this year, stood on the podium a couple of times, but also as anticipated as a rider making his way up through the ranks. Brett, he's also been on his backside at trackside a couple of times.
Yeah, that'll happen when you're coming up and learning and trying to go fast, trying to win races. All these guys are hungry to win. So one thing that'll be interesting to see is how Kenny plays this race out, because obviously it's he's probably thinking championship right now. So he's leading right now. We'll see. Who knows if he'll push the pace or just kind of take it easy and just try and wrap up the championship.
Well, Reedman obviously wanting championship, but I suspect he's probably also thinking superbike.
Yeah, and right now he's thinking motocross.
Going right off the racetrack. What was happening?
Yeah, you know what? I think he's just trying to keep the guys out from drafting him. You can see Card there not wanting to get in behind him when he's going through the pebbles, which is smart. You don't want to get a hole in your rad or a windscreen or anything. So
I was wondering whether that was a calculated move, but you'll remember on the first lap he had that same line when he was chasing Card up the Mario Andretti straightaway. He was way out there before the restart.
Yeah, it is the shortest way down the straightaway, I guess. The furthest inside, he's taking shortest distance, so I don't blame Kenny there at all.
Top four riders are starting to get a little bit of distance between themselves and the pack, and now it turns into a three-way battle with Tommy Casas running in third spot. And Casas looks like he might have something happening here. Up over two they go, looking back from Reedman's bike on Mitch Card just for a moment. They peel off down there, and they are starting to get a little gap there, Brett.
Yeah, it looks like they're starting to break away, but
Hornblower's coming back.
Hornblower's right there, and maybe Takash even in fourth right now. But these guys are all, they're kind of breaking away in the first couple corners, and these guys are closing things back up.
Down we go in towards turn number 4 again. What a daunting corner that is at high speed. Goodness gracious, down into Moss as they go again. And that's they call that 5A and B, but these guys are going at such speed that it becomes one corner.
Yeah, that's a fun corner. That turn 4 is pretty awesome on a 600 too. I'm thinking these guys likely aren't even shutting off the throttle, coming over there, just going hard.
There goes Reedman. It's again out into the stones, and perhaps a calculated move. Here comes Card again. A calculated move by Kenny Reedman to keep them back there and stay out of the debris coming off his back wheel.
Yeah, that reminds me of back when I was racing the 600s. There was lots of guys doing that, trying to keep everyone out of the draft. Maybe somebody told him that old trick.
Reminds me of Danny Eslick, if you don't mind me inserting. Here we come onto the front straightaway. Tommy Casas using every bit of the racetrack there and going up onto the rumble strip. Trying to keep track here of Card and Reedman, and Tommy may be struggling just a tad here.
Yeah, we'll see here. It looks like Reedman, too, is maybe holding Card up a bit. We haven't seen much of Card this year, but I'll be interested to see if he tries making a pass this lap and maybe trying to break away.
No, indeed, and Reedman, of course, is very used to just about everybody else on the grid except Mitch Card. We haven't seen Hornblower since last year either, but Hornblower at this point in time does not seem to be quite so much of a factor as what Card is. On board now with Kenny Reedman under the bridge and down in through turn 4 once more.
Yeah, it looks like these guys are starting to push a little harder. Tires are coming in, they're breaking away. This top 4 are kind of separating themselves from the group behind, so see how good a drive Kenny gets here. Maybe there can be some drafting going on this lap.
Reedman seemed to have about 2 or maybe 3 bike lengths over Mitch Card, and Mitch Card has got a paint job called Tommy Casas at times coming out of Moss's there. It was distinctly, Tommy was all over him, but it's obvious that Card got the better drive.
Yeah, Card's been getting a good drive out of there, and all of them going really deep into turn 8. This is some good racing. These guys are doing some good lap times.
You see a few times too, Brett, as the riders, of course, will tuck down below that plexiglass to make himself as aerodynamic as possible, but they'll also slide the rump back and get it up in the air a bit.
Yeah, trying to airstream as good as you can, be aerodynamic. I remember doing that, and pretty funny. You'd sit on the back of your tail section, especially me, for a tall guy. You'd end up gaining 200-300 RPM by the end of the straightaway and be into your rev limiter. And you know, they're using everything they can use to try and go faster.
Man, this is a terrific 3-horse race up front, and Hornblower now jumps into the fray. We got a 4-way fight for first, and the gloves are going to come off pretty soon here. We're looking at Tommy Casas now from the back of Mitch Card's bike. Casas on the Yamaha, Card on the Yamaha, and of course Kenny Riedman on the Kawasaki, and Hornblower also on the Yamaha.
Yeah, Casas has an interesting line there going up into 3, pretty inside. Let's see, maybe next lap he can make a move on Card.
What's Hornblower doing way out there? That was a long way out to the right in turn number 4 coming down into Moss's.
Yeah, it looks like maybe he missed his mark a bit. He's got a tight line, and Moss is there too, not helping himself out to get a drive here. But his bike looks to be fast.
Up the Mario Andretti straightaway once more, and Riedman once more into the pebbles. I wouldn't think there was much debris left there after the last few laps. Here comes Card. Oh man, right up alongside, or just about up alongside. Those onboard cameras really make things jump alive, Brett.
Yeah, I think Kenny knows he's there by now, so we'll see. Maybe Riedman will start protecting that inside off the back straightaway now.
As you can see, we've got cameras mounted on a number of motorcycles, including a Will Hornblower. We were just looking from his motorcycle, watching the action up front. Hornblower way to the inside now on the entry of turn number 1, as Mitch Card is running almost directly in the wheel tracks of Kenny Riedman. And I just can't help but think that Card's getting ready to uncork when he showed a wheel, or tried to show Kenny a wheel last lap around. But it looks kind of one of those things where he's just pacing himself, getting ready to launch.
Yeah, it's hard to tell right now if Card has a little more in reserve and he's ready to go by Kenny, or if he's pushing as hard as he can and just has nothing for him. He's pulled out a few times and can't make that pass, so I think Kenny's just pushing a really good pace right now.
On board with Hornblower once more as he pulls up alongside Tommy Casas. They are absolutely side. Hornblower right out by the white line there in 4. That's dangerous territory. And he and Tommy Casas were directly side by side, mirroring one another on the exit of turn 3 and all the way down into the entrance of turn number 4. On board again once more with Kenny Riedman. He's got a clear field of vision out into the stones. I don't get it, Brett. What's he doing?
I think he's just cleaning the track for everybody there.
Well, this is a new experience for Mitch Card, as he has never led one of these pro sport bike races, and it looks like that's what he has in mind. We'll see how that plays out, but Kenny Riedman, as you mentioned, Brett, has gone on defensive mode, and he is definitely guarding that line. I'm certain that he would love to wrap this one up. He's won every race so far. Casas looked to the inside. Did he get it done? He did yes, he did indeed, and Mitch Card returns the favor on acceleration away from turn number 10, and Hornblower now is distinctly a part of this battle. Hornblower now has moved into 3rd spot. Hornblower has captured 3rd spot, and he has shunted Tommy Casas back into 4th place. Down into turn number 2 again, and Hornblower is right on the back wheel of Mitch Card, and Card likewise moving up on Kenny Riedman now. This is wonderful stuff. In through Quebec corner once more, and they'll steam down in towards 4. Here comes Card again. He shows him a wheel. Doesn't quite get the job done, or does he? Let's follow them down 4. Riedman has been shunted back to 2nd. Mitch Card has got your race lead. Down into Moss as they go. Riedman looks to the inside. No room in the inn.
Oh, it's a nice pass. We'll see what Card's got here leading the race. This is the first time he's been out front, so first time probably for him leading a Pro 600 race. So we'll see.
And he is leading this
him.
one, Brett. Look at the distance he's got already. Where does that come from?
Yeah, his bike's a rocket ship. He got a good drive there, and that thing's going. But it looks like Kenny's maybe trying to get into the draft a little bit.
It's interesting to note of the 4 riders we're watching right now, 3 of them have fathers who were top pro riders in their day. We're talking about Mitch Card, whose father Bill was a great racer, and Kenny Riedman, Roland Riedman, a fine racer in his day as well. And of course, Will Hornblower, his father Bill, was a player a couple of years back as well. So again, the genes have been passed, and Hornblower moves to the inside going into 1. Hornblower has captured 2nd spot. What a great move.
That's an interesting place to pass. I've never passed anybody in the dry going into turn 1. That takes some guts, but good for him. He's into 2nd place. Let's see how he moves forward here.
It seems to me he's playing a dangerous game. You know, we're watching that wide line he used down in through 4. Very, very different than the other 3 riders that are involved in this fight for 1st spot.
Yeah, he seems to be trying to make passes in some dangerous places, but he's got no fear, and it's paying off for him. He's in second, and let's see if he attacks and tries to get in the lead here.
That's a solid second too, Brett, as he has got Reedman back in the third spot there, and a couple of bike lengths between he and Reedman. But Reedman looks like he's got an interesting line going down into Moss's, and he may just get a good push up to Mario Andretti straightaway and close this thing right back up again.
Yeah, now we'll definitely find out where Kenny's head's at, if he's looking to win this race or just thinking championship, because he's got shuffled back and these guys look like they've got a pretty good pace on him. So it's going to be interesting to see if he pushes hard for the race win or if he just kind of stays calm and goes for that championship.
Mitch Card is riding as one with that motorcycle. He is a part of that motorcycle right now, Brett, and is really getting the job done. A little bit of distance between himself, Hornblower, and Reedman, and
Ooh, a little bit of a moment
Tommy
there for Card.
Yeah, no kidding.
These guys are pushing, and I think maybe what happened with Card here, he watched Kenny and took his time. Now he's leading. He's trying to check out, and there's not much race left here. It looks like he's really putting the hammer down.
Is he ever? He's getting some serious distance. And again, you know, we've not seen Mitch Card ride this year in the Mopar Canadian Superbike class in this, the Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike class. So this is a real opportunity to see a new player in the game, if you will. 2 laps to go now as Card is leading this one. And coming out of turn number 3, man, he has got serious distance here, Brett.
Yeah, he's really opened up a gap here, and all the bikes seem to be spread out, but this is an interesting track because, well, this is...
Look at the footage now as we go on board with Kenny Reedman, and then we scan him coming in through Moss as he has moved solidly back into second spot, and I think he has designs on getting back up front with Mitch Card, and over this next lap and a half, perhaps winning this race. Look at Card, though. He's getting small, isn't he?
Yeah, Card's trying to get as far left as he can so these guys don't draft him, trying to get offline, which is a smart move. He's showing a little bit more experience than we thought he had. He's running a good race right now.
He has had a lot of experience. As we mentioned, he's been racing in the Southern Ontario Association of Racing to Soar races down at Grand Bend, and as we mentioned also, he's racing in AMA Pro, so he's got a lot of saddle time. It's just that we haven't seen him and aren't quite used to what we might expect from him. Here he comes now out of turn number 10 and getting that wobble happening again. What's causing that?
Tires are wearing. Yeah, 1 lap to go here. Tires are wearing, and just end of the race here, he's pushing hard and just trying to get everything out of that bike, and that's just what happens. You get everything starting to wear, and he's just going.
The battle for second is far from over, though. We got a 3-way fight happening for second spot. Reedman presently holding that position. We go on board right now with Will Hornblower and have a look at Reedman. Meanwhile, Tommy Kaz is sitting back there on the number 46 machine, taking this all in. And of course, each and every time Tommy gets out on the racetrack, former pro rookie, he continues to learn this sport and accelerate at it. Hornblower now. Oh man, did you see that as Reedman comes across Hornblower and just about takes the front wheel away from him? Tommy Kaz is now on the inside of Hornblower, and Hornblower has rapidly gone from second to fourth on the last lap. Here we go, the last run up to Mario Andretti straightaway. We're on board now with Kenny Reedman. We're chasing Mitch Card. And Card again, Brett, way to the left there, no chance of a draft. Meanwhile, Reedman on the pebbles again, and is Mitch Card and Will Hornblower following right behind him. Sorry, make that Tommy Kaz. It is Mitch Card, of course. It is miles ahead in this race. And wow, what a huge battle now for second. We're into the last 2 turns of this race. Card seems to have it wrapped up, but bring us home, Brett. This is it.
Yeah, not much you can do here. Card looks like he's got it in the bag. Let's see what happens for second place. Those guys were all tight there.
Down to the line it comes. Card obviously has got that one wrapped up, but we'll go back and see who took second. Kenny Reedman, of course, brings it home in second spot, and Reedman was not in any congratulatory mood there going past Mitch Card.
Yeah, Kenny doesn't look too happy about that. Maybe a little bit sour that he didn't get to seal the championship with a race win, but that was a good ride by Mitch Card. No, can't take anything away from there. That was good.
A great ride by Mitch Card, and of course that, I believe, we'll have to double check on this, but if memory serves me, Kenny Reedman has scored enough points with that ride that he will capture the national championship in the Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike class, and he will again have the opportunity to wear that number 1 plate on the front of his bike through the 2017 season. Jeff Snead ends up in 10th spot there. And so with that win by Mitch Card, Kenny Reedman's win streak has been stopped. Let's go to the podium and talk to our top 3 riders.
Oh man, it was such a hard battle. Of course I wanted to win, but you know, we've been struggling this weekend and we're low on horsepower, but you know, I was able to catch through the turns and make the ground up, and it was a battle to the end, you know. I'm just happy to be up here. Hopefully tomorrow we can do a bit more.
I was definitely pushing hard to get that win. Wanted the perfect season. But, you know, Mitch rode really well, and, you know, hats off to him. It was funny in that race. That was the first time I ever felt like the old guy out there. So I think it's time to just start focusing on the superbike maybe and, you know, go to where I'm supposed to be, let the young kids keep battling it out here. I don't know if I was distracted out there or what, or maybe Mitch just was putting down a really good pace. So, you know, I'm happy with the championship, but kind of bummed that I didn't win this one.
I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. I don't even know where to start. It was an awesome race. We went out there. I know I got the whole shot. Kenny was leading me for a bit. I stopped behind him, and I figured he had such a good pace going, and I was catching him in some corners, and he was pulling away from me in some corners. So it was an equal battle all around the track. I mean, I couldn't have done it without any of these guys. These guys are awesome to be racing with.
Well said. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, your podium from the Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike National Championship Final. The second last race of the year for this class. Kenny, you may want to grab a hold of that Rockwell watch as well so you can keep track of time. That courtesy of Motovan. Thank you very much to the good folks from Motovan.
And so with this race complete, Kenny Reedman takes the national championship. And although that's been salted, Brett, we still have a huge battle going on for second, third, fourth, fifth position. Well, we'll count Michael Taylor out, but nonetheless, great interest for tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. Tomorrow will be a really good race, and I'm interested to see how Kenny bounces back after getting his win streak broken there. He might have a little bit of a fire lit under him.
So that wraps up the second last race of the season. Tomorrow, of course, we go into the very last race of the season and looking very much forward to that. We'll see you tomorrow.